Hello guys, good morning to me. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So put on your headphones, relax, and enjoy the journey.
Today we're exploring The Chemistry of Calm by Henry Emmons, a powerful book that teaches us how to calm the mind from the inside out. And if you also struggle with overthinking or feel weighed down by stress, then stay with me, because I'm going to share 2 simple, practical solutions from this book that you can use anytime, anywhere. The Chemistry of Calm, long audiobook-style summary, by Henry Emmons. Imagine yourself sinking into a soft, comfortable chair. There are books that teach you something, and then there are books that meet you, quietly, gently, exactly where you already are, before the journey truly begins, before the healing even starts to unfold. Dr. Henry Emmons asks a few simple questions that don't feel like they are printed on a page, but like they are whispered from a quiet corner inside you, a place you may have been avoiding for a long time. Do you ever feel anxious, even when nothing is actually wrong? Do you get tired of overthinking, yet the mind refuses to stop? Do you long for a calm, steady life, but stress follows you everywhere you go? Do you feel emotionally drained, as if your inner energy is leaking away, drop by drop? And perhaps the deepest question of all, do you wish someone would finally explain anxiety in a way that feels human, simple, compassionate, without making you feel broken? If even one of these questions echoes inside you, then The Chemistry of Calm becomes more than a book. It becomes a companion, a soft light in a noisy world. Because modern life is overwhelming. Life moves too fast, expectations stretch too far, and somewhere in all that rushing, the mind forgets how to return to peace. The lights dim, the background quiets, and a calm voice begins to speak. There are moments in life when everything feels too sharp, too fast, too loud. When the noise outside becomes the noise inside. When anxiety is no longer just a feeling, it becomes a full-body storm. Dr. Emmons begins right there. He reminds you of something deeply comforting. Anxiety is not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's chemistry. And chemistry can be changed. It can be soothed, rebalanced, rebuilt. Just like the body heals a wound or the heart recovers after strain. Calmness isn't an accident. It's a practice, a rhythm, a way of coming back home to yourself. So he begins with the body, the birthplace of anxiety. Whenever fear rises, the body flips into its ancient survival mode. The sympathetic system, the fight-or-flight engine. Your breath tightens, your heart speeds, your thoughts scatter like startled birds. But within you, just as ancient, is another system, a gentler one, the parasympathetic healer, the quiet voice saying, "You are safe now, rest, come back." And the switch between these two worlds lives in one simple place, your breath. Dr. Emmons introduces one of the most powerful tools for peace, the 3-3-6 breath. You inhale for 3, hold for 3, and exhale for 6. It's the long exhale that changes everything. Every slow, extended breath tells your brain, the danger has passed, you can let go. Cortisol softens, the heart steadies, the mind begins to unclench. Breath becomes medicine, silent, natural, always available. From breath, the journey moves deeper into stillness. Not mystical stillness, but biological stillness, the kind that calms the amygdala and reawakens the clear-thinking prefrontal cortex. Mindfulness isn't magic, he says. It's chemistry. When you breathe and watch your thoughts without judgment, the brain rewires. Overthinking softens. Worry loosens its claws. Thoughts drift by like clouds across an open sky. And somewhere in the space between those thoughts, you begin to meet something rare, a glimpse of pure calm. But calm does not belong to breath alone. It also lives in connection. Dr. Emmons shares something profound. The opposite of anxiety isn't calm. It's belonging. When you are emotionally or socially disconnected, the body shifts into loneliness chemistry. Cortisol rises. Fear grows. Oxytocin, the hormone of safety, warmth, and trust, falls. But the moment someone hugs you, the moment you help another person, or genuinely listen to them, your brain opens like a flower to sunlight. Oxytocin rises, and the mind settles. Even one sincere act of kindness can shift the inner weather. Compassion becomes medicine. Connection rewrites biology. Love becomes chemistry, and that brings the journey deeper still, into purpose. Inside every person is a quiet voice asking, "Who am I? Why am I here? What gives my life meaning?" When your actions align with who you truly are, the inner chaos loses its power. Purpose doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be nurturing a family, building something meaningful, helping someone, or simply living with sincerity. But when purpose and action come together, the mind stops fighting itself. Stress softens, the body eases, meaning becomes medicine. And then, there is nature, the oldest healer of them all. We evolved in forests and sunlight, not screens and speed. And the moment your bare feet touch the earth, or morning light brushes your face, your biology remembers. Cortisol drops, serotonin rises, your heartbeat syncs with the natural world. Stillness isn't something you create, it's something you return to. This is the foundation the book lays in its opening movement. That calm is not an escape, it is an alignment between breath and body, mind and heart, spirit and purpose, self and nature. And slowly, one mindful breath at a time, the chemistry inside you begins to change. Henry Emmons gently shifts from understanding calm to living it, not as a moment, not as a lucky break, but as a daily rhythm. He reminds us that peace is not discovered in dramatic transformations. It grows in the small, ordinary choices we make every single day. He introduces the idea of a daily calm routine, not a strict discipline, not a rigid schedule, but a soft structure to shape the chemistry of your life. Because what you repeat, you become, and calmness at its heart is simply practiced balance. He begins with food, because every bite you take becomes the chemistry of your brain. Whole grains, omega-3s, leafy greens, fruits, foods that nourish serotonin, GABA, and steady energy. Henry says to eat consciously, not just for taste but for peace. When you eat slowly, gratefully, and with awareness, you're not just feeding your stomach, you're feeding your brain the signals of safety. Then he moves to movement. He says, move your body and your mood will follow. Walking, stretching, dancing, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the body flows because movement melts stress. It releases endorphins, loosens tension, and shakes loose the emotions the body has been holding. Anxiety gets trapped in stillness. Movement frees it. Breath becomes the anchor again, the gentle reminder that calm lives inside you. A few minutes of 3-3-6 breathing each day, and the nervous system learns a new rhythm. Every long exhale becomes a quiet message to the brain. I'm safe. I'm here. I'm okay. Then comes sleep, the nightly therapy session your brain gives itself. Henry describes deep sleep as the time when the brain washes itself clean, removes toxins, repairs emotional circuits, and resets its chemistry. Without sleep, calm cannot sustain. With it, your inner world rebalances naturally. Sleep isn't rest, it's restoration. And of course, connection, because no routine is complete without it. Henry calls love the most powerful natural tranquilizer. A single genuine conversation can soothe the nervous system. A moment of appreciation can steady the heart. A hug can soften the fear circuits of the brain. Connection is not luxury, it's biological necessity. We heal each other. Nature returns in this daily rhythm too. Even a few minutes of sunlight or earth beneath your feet shifts your body toward balance. He wants you to make space for silence, for trees, for sky, for breath. Not as a break from life, but as a part of life. And then gratitude, that quiet inner turning toward what is good. Henry reminds us that gratitude lifts serotonin and dopamine naturally. It expands the mind, it softens the heart. When you look for what's right, your chemistry becomes right. Every choice, he says, is a lesson for the brain. Every habit becomes a message, and slowly anxiety loses its home. Then the narrative deepens into something more structured. The 4-week calm reset, a journey designed not to control life but to realign with it. In week 1, the focus is the body, grounding yourself in balance. Eating real food, moving daily, resting deeply, hydrating, lowering stimulation. A stable mind begins in a steady body. When your foundation is firm, anxiety has fewer places to hide. Week 2 turns to the mind, learning to master the inner noise. Not by fighting it, but by watching it. Through mindful breathing, gentle awareness, journaling the emotions that crowd your chest, and practicing small digital detoxes. Henry reminds you, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. Week 3 is the healing of the heart, through connection, kindness, and gratitude. Helping someone, sharing warmth, giving affection, writing down 3 things you're thankful for. When the heart opens, oxytocin rises, fear circuits quiet, and emotional storms soften. And then week 4, the spirit, the deepest layer, the place where meaning lives. Here, Henry asks you to reconnect with your why, to remember purpose, however small or grand. Purpose aligns your energy. It gives direction, steadies the mind, softens fear. He encourages silence, gentle time in nature, morning sunlight, and small acts of meaning. Because when your spirit aligns with your actions, life stops feeling like a battle and begins to feel like flow. This 4-week journey doesn't promise miracles, but it promises a shift, a return of breath, a softening of thoughts, the rediscovery of a familiar peace you may have forgotten. Calmness becomes less of a moment and more of a way of being. Anxiety becomes less of a storm and more of a passing cloud. And through it all, Henry whispers the same truth. Healing doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency, not from doing more, but from aligning more deeply with who you truly are. Calmness is built, day by day, breath by breath, act by act. And by the time this part of the story closes, you begin to understand something profound. That peace is not the absence of struggle. Peace is the presence of rhythm, the rhythm of a life lived in alignment. As the book moves deeper, Henry Emmons turns towards something essential. the truth that anxiety is not only emotional or spiritual, it is profoundly biochemical. He takes you gently by the hand and leads you inside the body, showing how every moment of fear, every moment of tension, every sleepless night, every racing thought has roots in real physical processes. And once you understand these processes, you realize something liberating. The storm inside you is not personal failure. It is simply chemistry asking for balance. He begins with serotonin, the stabilizer. When this neurotransmitter is depleted, the mind becomes fragile, easily overwhelmed, easily shaken by small disturbances. Serotonin is what allows you to feel grounded, steady, emotionally anchored. Without it, the world looks sharper, louder, harsher. Henry describes serotonin as the inner cushion, the softness that lets you face life without collapsing into fear. And the way to raise it is surprisingly simple. Sunlight, movement, protein-rich foods, deep sleep, gratitude, meaningful connection, and gentle mindfulness. You rebuild it not through force, but through rhythm. Then he moves to GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, the body's natural tranquilizer. When GABA is low, the mind cannot turn off. Thoughts spin endlessly. Worry becomes constant background noise. The body stays on edge, even when the danger has passed. But GABA can be nurtured. Slow breathing, relaxation exercises, warm baths, magnesium-rich foods, and even simple moments of pleasure increase it naturally. Henry makes you feel the softness that GABA brings, like a warm blanket laid over the nervous system, telling it to rest. After this comes dopamine, the motivator, the spark. Too little dopamine and everything feels dull, heavy, colorless. The mind becomes foggy. The world loses flavor. Anxiety begins to blend with hopelessness. But dopamine rises with goals, with meaningful tasks, with movement, with healthy pleasures, with creativity. Henry encourages you to do small things that make you feel alive, because each little spark builds a stronger flame. And then comes norepinephrine, the alertness chemical, powerful, sharp, necessary for survival but dangerous when it floods the system. When it rises too high, you feel shaky, restless, panicked, unable to breathe deeply. Henry explains how stress triggers it, and how practices like meditation, slow exhalations, warm foods, grounding exercises, and nature walks bring it back into balance. As Henry walks through these chemicals, you begin to understand anxiety as a kind of inner orchestra. And when one instrument plays too loudly or too softly, the whole music becomes chaos. But once you learn how each instrument works, you learn how to tune them, how to soften them, how to bring them back into harmony. Then the narrative opens into another layer: inflammation, the hidden fire in the body that often fuels anxiety. When your immune system becomes overactive, it releases chemicals that cloud the mind, disrupt hormones, and keep the nervous system on high alert. The body thinks it is fighting an infection, but the real battle is inside your emotions. Anti-inflammatory foods, omega-3s, rest, nature, gentle movement, they quiet this fire and create space for calm to return. From inflammation, Henry leads you toward hormones, especially cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is not the enemy. It helps you wake up, respond, act. But when it stays elevated for too long, the body forgets how to relax. Muscles stay tense, breath stays shallow, sleep becomes thin, emotions become fragile, and cortisol slowly drains the very chemicals that maintain peace. Henry's message is simple. The goal is not to eliminate stress, but to restore balance. Each act of stillness, each moment of connection, each breath with a long exhale brings cortisol back into a healthy rhythm. Then comes one of the deepest lessons of this section: understanding your anxious patterns. Henry explains that every person has a unique anxiety style, shaped by biology, temperament, experience, and habit. Some people worry endlessly, some people freeze, some become restless, some get irritable, some collapse inward, and each style requires a different kind of healing. He encourages you not to judge your pattern, but to understand it, the way you would understand a friend in distress. Because once you see your pattern clearly, you can support yourself instead of fighting yourself. He invites you to track your emotions, not as problems, but as messages, signals from your inner chemistry telling you what needs gentle care. And then he goes deeper into the heart of healing. Resilience. Resilience isn't toughness. It isn't pretending everything is fine. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to feel deeply without drowning, to rest, recover, and rise again. Henry describes resilience as the core of inner calm, and he explains that resilience grows from many sources: strong relationships, meaningful work, self-kindness, balanced habits, silence, play, deep rest. Resilience is not built in crisis. It is built in daily life, in the quiet choices you make when nobody is watching. As this part of the book unfolds, you begin to sense the deeper truth Henry is leading you toward. That calm is not something you chase. It is something you cultivate, gently, steadily, patiently, the way you cultivate a garden. Every breath becomes a seed. Every act of presence becomes water. Every moment of gratitude becomes sunlight. And slowly, something new grows inside you. something steady, grounded, peaceful. The storm inside doesn't disappear instantly, but you learn how to walk through it with wisdom, and the fear that once controlled you begins to loosen its grip. You begin to recognize the strength that was always there, the calm that was always within reach, the chemistry that was always waiting to be balanced, waiting to help you come home to yourself. Henry Emmons turns toward the kind of calm that doesn't fade when life gets hard. The calm that has roots, the calm that grows from meaning, intention, and deep alignment. He guides you now, not as a doctor explaining anxiety, but almost like a companion walking beside you, helping you understand what it means to live a life that supports the chemistry of peace. He tells you that long-lasting calm comes from 5 inner qualities. Not talents, not gifts, but capacities we all hold within us. And each of these qualities nourishes the brain in its own deep way. The first is presence, the ability to be here fully, without being dragged backward by memory or pulled forward by fear. Presence quiets the mind. It steadies the breath. It lowers cortisol, soothes inflammation, and strengthens emotional clarity. Presence is the practice of returning, again and again, to this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. And with presence, the mind begins to trust the ground beneath it. The second is acceptance. Not resignation, not giving up, but the simple willingness to see reality as it is. Anxiety feeds on resistance. The more you push against your emotions, the louder they become. But acceptance softens the inner battle. It tells the brain, I don't need to be at war with myself anymore. And in that surrender, something quiet opens, the space where healing begins. Then comes compassion, especially toward yourself. Henry reminds you that compassion is one of the most powerful biological healers. When you offer yourself the kindness you offer others, your nervous system shifts instantly. Oxytocin rises, calming the fear circuits. The heart softens, the mind loosens. Self-kindness is not a luxury for emotional healing. It is one of its foundations. The fourth quality is gratitude, but not as a forced exercise or a list you make on paper. Henry speaks of gratitude as a way of seeing, a gentle turning of your awareness toward what is nourishing, supportive, and steady in your life. Genuine gratitude releases serotonin and dopamine, brightens your inner world, and makes your emotional landscape more resilient. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulty, but it adds balance, reminding you that beauty still exists amid the struggle. And finally, the fifth quality, purpose. Purpose is the anchor. Purpose is the compass. Purpose is the quiet yes that steadies you when life becomes uncertain. Henry explains that when you feel connected to what matters, whether it's love, creativity, family, healing, service, or growth, your brain organizes itself around that meaning. Anxiety loses its power because your energy has direction. Fear becomes smaller because your life has a center. Even small purposes, caring for someone, creating something meaningful, nurturing a dream, generate biochemical calm. Purpose is the deepest medicine of all. Once these 5 qualities are planted in your daily life, Henry gently guides you into the final teachings. How to maintain this chemistry of calm, not just during peaceful moments, but during seasons of difficulty. He speaks of setbacks, those moments when anxiety returns suddenly, not because you failed, but because you are human. He teaches you not to panic when old patterns rise. Instead, he invites you to breathe, to ground yourself, to use these moments as reminders of what you've learned. Setbacks are not signs of weakness, they are milestones of growth. Each one gives you a chance to practice resilience. Then he turns toward boundaries, the emotional and physical limits that protect your inner chemistry. Saying no when you need rest. Stepping away from chaos. Choosing people who nourish your peace instead of draining it. Protecting your time, your energy, your attention. Boundaries are not walls, they are the architecture of emotional clarity. He also speaks about forgiveness, not as moral duty but as neurochemical release. When you forgive, when you let yourself loosen the tight grip of old wounds, the brain frees itself from stress cycles that have lived inside you for years. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is about freeing yourself from carrying burdens that are too heavy for the nervous system to bear. And finally, he arrives at hope. Hope, Henry says, is not wishful thinking. It is biology. It is chemistry. It is the mind's ability to imagine a future that is better than the present. And to move toward it, hope releases dopamine. Hope strengthens resilience. Hope calms the fear circuits. Hope changes the body. And when hope is alive inside you, your entire system reorganizes itself around the possibility of healing. As the book reaches its closing moments, Henry doesn't offer dramatic conclusions. Instead, he offers a gentle truth. Calm is not something you reach once and keep forever. Calm is something you cultivate, something you return to, something you choose breath by breath, moment by moment. You understand now that the chemistry of calm is not a secret. It is a practice, a rhythm, a way of living close to yourself. It is created through breath, through presence, through compassion, through connection, through purpose, through nature, through rest, through meaning. It grows quietly inside you, like a steady flame protected from the wind. And as the final words sink in, you feel something shift, subtle, warm, steady. A knowing, a remembering, a calmness that feels less like a lesson and more like a homecoming. Because the truth Henry leaves you with is this: your mind is not broken, your chemistry is not your enemy, and peace is not beyond your reach. Everything you need for calm already lives within you. Now, you simply know the way back. As I told you earlier, according to the book, there are 2 practical solutions for overthinking and anxiety, and they unfold not as instructions, but as moments of understanding, like a gentle voice guiding you back to yourself. The first begins with a simple but powerful question. If your thoughts start running too fast and you're struggling with overthinking, what are you supposed to do? And the answer rises like a calm whisper. When the thoughts begin to rush again, when the mind feels like a river that has suddenly swollen with fear and noise, the first thing you do is not fight them. You breathe, slowly, gently, as if you are reminding your body that the world is not ending. And with each long exhale, the storm inside begins to loosen its grip. You feel your feet, you feel the ground beneath you, and you realize that the mind is simply reacting, not warning you of danger. The breath becomes your anchor. The moment becomes your shelter. And as you let yourself settle into that moment, the thoughts that seemed so powerful only a minute ago begin to lose their authority. They pass like shadows, like clouds drifting across a quiet sky. You come back into your body, into the warmth of your chest, into the steady rhythm of your breath. And in that return, calm rises again. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, naturally, like something that was always waiting to come back home to you. And then there is the second question, the one many people are afraid to ask. And if the anxiety becomes too heavy again, what should you do then? The answer doesn't shout, it softens. When anxiety grows heavy, when it presses on your chest as if the world has become too large to carry, you begin by easing into the moment instead of resisting it. You breathe again, but this time you let your whole body exhale, as if you are letting go of a weight you were never meant to hold alone. You let your shoulders fall. You let your heart speak softly to itself. I'm here. I'm safe. This will pass. And in those simple words, something inside you loosens. You remember that your feelings are temporary visitors, not permanent truths. You let yourself move a little, a step, a stretch, enough to remind your nervous system that life is still in motion, that you are not trapped in the fear. And when you feel even a small opening, you turn gently toward the things that give your life meaning. A memory of why you want to be well, a glimpse of what you love, a reason to keep going. And in that remembering, hope rises, quiet, warm, steady. And the fear that felt so powerful begins to soften into something you can breathe through, something you can survive, something you can walk past with time. And if you have learned something from this book, if something in it touched you or stayed with you, then please tell me in the comment box what you learned from this book.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and smile, Coach. Thanks for watching. Bye-byes.